Hey, Shane Plays here with a unboxing video on KeyForge, Call of the Archons, the new unique deck card game, competitive card game by Richard Garfield, the man who created Magic the Gathering and Fantasy Flight Games. Yeah, there we go, Fantasy Flight Games. Now this is going to be sort of a unique unboxing video because I'm doing it with my phone camera. So I've only got one hand. Hello, hand. So we'll see how this goes. And I may have to re-record the audio. I don't know how this is going to sound with all the background noise. So anyway, here is KeyForge, and I am going to, will I edit this out? Me trying to, with one hand. Hop, got it. Look at that. Okay. Whoop. All right.
How did you do that with one hand, Daddy?
Very carefully, I guess, and surprisingly easier than I thought, son. My son was asking how I did that with one hand. So here is the KeyForge box with less, saran wrap or plastic wrap or whatever. It makes it a little bit easier to see. Again, it's Call of the Archons, and every game is unique. So the thing about KeyForge, this isn't like Magic or Pokemon or some of the other popular collectible card games out there. You don't build a deck, you buy a deck, and then you register it and use that deck or whichever decks you want, out of your decks. So in a world where anything is possible, in this exciting game where no two decks are alike, two players race to forge keys to unlock the hidden vaults of the Crucible, whatever that means. With an incredible array of creatures, artifacts, and abilities, each deck is one of a kind, and no two battles will ever be the same. So this is the starter set, which comes, I think, with two starter decks to teach you, Radiant Argus, the Supreme deck, and Miss Onyx, Censorious deck. And those are sort of decks to teach you how to play the game. And then you get two unique Archon decks. So if you went and bought KeyForge decks right now, but if I went and bought just a deck, I said, give me a deck, it's like $10. And then the starter kit is $40. So, but yeah, you get various tokens, Quickstart Rulebook, these status cards, all this stuff. I don't quite know how it all works yet. So I'm going to have an employee of the store is going to show me how to play it here in a little while, because that's the point of today's event, is to learn how to play. And then they have a limited amount of inventory, a certain amount of starters. I think I bought the last starter. They held one back for me. All right, so let's take a look at what's inside. Well, actually, some people want to see everything. So you've got all right. Look at that. This thing just wants to open. It doesn't want to stay closed. Little artwork. And I guess I'm trying to get a sense. It looks like sort of a mix of fantasy and sci-fi as far as the setting. Okay, let's get inside here. See what's going on with this excitement. Earlier the box couldn't not open, and now it's working against me. Okay, so you get the catalog. It says Fantasy Flight Catalog. Let's see what's in here. Yeah, this is the Fantasy Flight Catalog. So even though it looks like a rule book because it's got KeyForge on it, here are the KeyForge Quickstart Rules. And this opens up, does it? Yes. So these are the Quickstart Rules. And it looks like something's missing here, so maybe some tokens popped out on me. Let's see if we can find them. Yes, there they are. So these are tokens of some sort, number counters. All right, so I'll do a quick run through on the pieces that can be popped out of here. First of all, none of these are absolutely essential for the game. All you really need is the cards, but you know, there are a few things to keep track of during gameplay so that it will definitely help. So starting at the bottom left, those large round tokens, I'll actually get to those here in a second. Those are the keys that are part of the KeyForge name. On the bottom right, those are damage tokens that you can track how much damage a creature has taken. It's of note that in this game, the player actually doesn't have hit points like in Magic, you know, 20 life or whatever. Just creatures and things have hit points. Up at the top, those yellow little gemstone looking things, those are actually Æmber or Amber. It's Aember. And the whole point of the game is to gather Æmber, which there are multiple ways to do that, and then forge keys. And then in the very upper left, there's two sort of they're like by themselves. They're in the upper left, kind of blue tokens. Those you use to track how many chains you have on a chain tracker, and we'll talk about the chain tracker more later in the video. Various whatnots. We'll set them here. Here is the one that these popped out. This is actually one of the keys that makes up the KeyForge concept. Players in a game attempt to forge 3 keys, and each one of these key tokens is dual-sided, one showing it's been forged, as in this case with the yellow in the slots, and the other side with sort of gray slots. It is reflecting that it's unforged at that time. The rest of the box doesn't look damaged, so not sure. All right, so as my son pointed out, you know, these can be popped back in, so I may be anal and do that. I don't know. Let's see. La, it's pretty specific shape, so I'm not going to mess with that. Got a KeyForge. Come on, focus in. There we go. I actually did that focus with my nose. This is one unique 37 card Archon deck. And they're supposed to have a unique name, I thought. I don't know where that unique name appears, but each of these evidently have a unique name. They combine 2 words randomly, and in each deck gets a unique name, and there's some quintillion possible combinations or something like that. So you get 2 of these decks.
It's right there.
Yeah. All right, same artwork on both. All right, and then we've got, let's see, and these I guess are the 2 starter decks that come with it, that are not random, but are in fact, yeah, Radiant, Argus, the Supreme. So these are not random. These are in fact pre-designed starter decks. So, and then everything else is just filler. You've got this thing here with some artwork. Again, it looks sort of fantasy and sci-fi mixed. So I know that there's 2 decks in here, and it looks like these are, I don't know. We'll find out. I want to bust one of these unique decks out and see what these are about. Again, they're, how many? 37 cards. Specifically, 37 cards. So let's see if we can get one of these open. This might be harder. We'll see. One-handed, ladies and gentlemen. One-handed. There we go. I think it's opening. Let's take a look. Up, up. There we go. Come on up. Up, and it's in wrap. Of course, it's in wrap. Oh, it's like it's got the little cigarette tear stuff here. So let's take a look. What is this? I'm trying to get it to focus and it won't. There we go. It says Swethor, the Dragon of the Boneyard deck list. So I guess this is what's in the deck. Swethor, the Dragon of the Boneyard. Which is, as I understand, every deck is supposed to be completely unique, and I think that you go to a website or something, or an app, and scan that code, and it registers it that, you know, this deck's been gotten. So let's see if we can get this open. Take a look at some of these cards.
Card in them, which makes the top loader pliable. The card in it,
Open! Yeah, I have no idea how to get this open. Let's see. La la la, there we go. Got it.
And it was funny.
All right. I can do it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So you've got this. It tells you what cards are in the deck. And then here are, you know, some of the Red Planet Ray Gun. Zizix the Mini, he's a creature. This is an upgrade. That is a creature. So anyway, just go through. Looks like there's creatures. What is that? That's a creature. An item. So creatures, upgrades, items, locations. Here's a location. Anyway, you get the point. We're not going to be able to go through the entire game. This is just sort of a action, control the weak. Action, phosphorus stars, etc. So we're going to figure out how this game works. Now, another thing I want to point out here is these built-in decks that come with the starter set. Like I said, this is Radiant Argus the Supreme, and it says Untamed Sanctum Logos for these things. And then on this deck, they also have 3 symbols. Those 3 icons are actually representative of the 3 factions that this particular deck is made up of. I believe there's 9 factions total for KeyForge, and each deck is comprised of cards from 3 different factions. So the longer you play, by looking at a deck's icons, you'll get a sense of, you know, the play style of that deck once you get an understanding of the different strengths and weaknesses and play styles of the individual factions. It's also worth noting that factions not only kind of determine the play style of a deck, but it's also part of resource management, because each turn you choose a faction, and on that turn, unless a special ruler card says otherwise, you can only play cards or use cards from that faction in that turn. So again, they're not only kind of part of the generation of a deck and the style and strengths and weaknesses of a deck and the interactions of all 3 factions, but they're part of your resource management as well. So I wonder if that's kind of unique to each deck. I'm assuming so. It must have some sort of gameplay. I have a feeling not much in here is just for flavor. I have a feeling everything in here is for gameplay. Evidently, there's some trillion or quintillion combinations of cards. So I'm going to open up one more deck. Okay, I've got this next deck open, and it's Eulalia Walk Medic, right? And again, if you'll see, there's different symbols. Two of them are the same, but one of them is different. And according to this up here, that middle blue symbol stands for sanctum. Yeah, sanctum. So I don't know. I don't know if those are houses or clans or some sort of power source. I just don't know what this is. But again, you know, you have the kind of cards we've already looked at. And then this has, whoops, I dropped some cards. The deck list for Eualia. So there you go. And then I'll pop this open and see if there's anything noteworthy in here. Okay, so in that pack I had that comes with the starter set, booster set, whatever you want to call it, there's 2 decks in here. As you can see, there's Miss Onyx Censorious, and there's Radiant Argus the Supreme. Again, you have these, you know, symbols here. I have a feeling that as you start understanding what these are, now I'm not going to say they're direct analogs of the colors of Magic in Magic, the Gathering, but I have a feeling as you play the game, you'll learn what these are. And then you'll kind of get an, oh, well, this deck has these 3, and that deck has these 3. And the more you play, you'll understand how they work together and that sort of thing. There's also, let's see here. Not sure what this is. It's a chain tracker, whatever a chain is. I don't know yet.
So in KeyForge, there's a game mechanic called chains. Now, you don't use this with the 2 beginner decks, and it's also not in the starter rules, but in the full rules, and as you're playing with the normal unique decks that you can buy for KeyForge, chains are either you can give yourself chains by doing certain actions, or perhaps you can put chains on your opponent, but essentially the more chains you have, the less cards you draw during, you know, I think you draw cards at the end of each turn, if I remember right. So there you go.
All right, so these are stun cards. And it says when this creature is used, it does nothing other than discard all stun counters on it. And when this creature is used, and it's yellow, like a lightning bolt. And then this thing, it's +1 power. This creature gets +1 power. This creature gets +1 power. And it's like a sunburst or something. So that's it. I mean, that's, you know, that's KeyForge so far. Again, I don't know how to play it yet. I'm about to find out. Okay, so again, here we go. You get this, this is the starter set for KeyForge. You get all of these tokens, which need to be punched out. Still don't know exactly what those are, all of them. You get 2 unique decks. You get the catalog, so you can spend more money with Fantasy Flight. You get the Quickstart Rules. You get 2 starter decks, which I guess that's the same in every booster starter set. These 2 decks are the same, as opposed to these unique decks, which, like pretty much every deck in this game, KeyForge is unique. You don't build your own deck, you buy decks, and they're all unique by the wonderful science of computer algorithms and randomness. Or, you know, math, computer algorithms can never be completely random, but I guess as much as possible. You get this little box to put everything in, 2 starter decks, 2 chain trackers, whatever those are, some stun cards, and some power cards. And that's it. That's your, that is your starter set. All right, so there's the box again. KeyForge, Call of the Archons. Every game is unique. And I don't know what they're calling this, a starter set or quick start. I don't know exactly what they're calling this set. But it's really, like right now, the only boxed thing you can buy for KeyForge. Everything else is these little unique decks. So that's it.
There's a
Thanks for watching Shane Plays, and we will catch you next time.